arena, shrug off your little circles of death. They don't care about your little coil, right? They will just walk straight through it. And that's the timing that we will have to sort of keep our eyes out for. Later down the line as well, with so many focal points from G2.iG in the fight, the egg is going to be an even bigger problem because, honestly, apart from the lifestealer, who's hitting it?
Disrupt.
Why you smile will get up in there? Don't disrespect why my goat. I don't know. I mean, both these teams are very familiar with each other at this point, and it's really just been... It's been a revitalization, I'd say, for Chinese Dota, especially with Azure Ray coming through with that huge win at KL. I think, you know, I've told this story a few times already, but I feel like, especially since Extreme Gaming and Azure Ray have sort of stepped up the bar, even though the age-old story with Chinese Dota is like, okay, you know, we aren't sort of really making room for these new talents, it's always the same old names. The same old names are kind of running it back and showing us what it's about, right? I mean, these guys are absolutely dominating.
I mean, even the old names, like, look at Kev, right? They were the team that knocked LGD down into this lower bracket.
Yeah, that's
right?
kind of crazy.
Even these super old names are coming back around and really showing what they're, what's what.
Old 11 and Fly, my goodness, these guys.
I know, right?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a mystery why they decided to forfeit. Maybe they had some other commitments that they couldn't sort of, you know, miss. But, of course, all of these teams vying for an opportunity to play in DreamLeague. Of course, we saw in the previous DreamLeague, just to reiterate, even though LGD didn't make it, they were sort of participating in some other tournaments throughout that period in time. On the flip side, G2.iG, they didn't really do too hot in the group stages, fell out in group stage 1, and then decided to take a bit of a long break. And this is something I want to talk about with this lineup, right? They very clearly prioritize their own, or at least their own sort of mental health and making sure they're not getting burnt out. And hopefully that's enough for them to come into this fresh and feel good about facing off against LGD, who are a terrifying opponent.
Oh, absolutely, right? Big names, big org. It's a little daunting going up against that, but I think G2.iG, if there is a bigger org, not bigger, but just as big org, it's them, right? So that pressure is still going to be there for both of these two teams.
Yeah.
You know, the pressure of the fans, pressure of the org is definitely a real thing for sure.
I mean, it's the only way I could describe it is that analogy that I was telling you about, like the whole little brother coming into school, right? It's like there's so many expectations to live up to. IG has been a household name quite as much as LGD. It's always been these two titans, and now it's a Zero Ray Extreme Gaming out of nowhere revitalizing it, and you want to sort of step up to that same plate, right? You want to sort of reach back that former glory, especially your players as storied as Nova, Nothing to Say, Why You Smile. These guys, I mean, even PYW, long-time player on IG, right? It's there's a lot of
it feels like you're doing them a disservice by saying they've been around the block, because they've been around the block like 8 times.
Yeah,
right? Like,
they own the block. They are the landlords, okay? And nobody has even shaken that away from them. So, especially in a period now where everybody has to play qualifiers, everybody has to just go neck and neck perpetually, I think especially the stamina is going to be a big question. And of course, G2.iG, this is going to be essentially a bit of a slog of a day for them, because even if they win this, it'll be their 3rd best of 3 coming up in the lower bracket, round 3.
Yeah, and the stamina is a real thing, especially when you're playing at this top tier of Dota, right? You know, you could say, okay, I can play 8 pubs a day, and that won't burn me out. If you're a pro player, that's probably pretty normal for you, or like, you know, 8 games of scrims in a day. Pretty normal, but when you're playing at the top tier in a very important qualifier, not only are you feeling pressure, you're feeling that stamina deplete slowly. Yeah. And that's just realistic, right? That's human.
Yeah, I certainly believe so, and I was recently sort of casting with Winter as well, and he's obviously had pro experience. He did mention to me that it's not even close to being the same, because he can play 8 pubs in a day, but each official or each scrim even kind of feels like 2.5, 3 pubs. And that's how draining and taxing it is, because there's so much to talk about, so much to prepare. You're doing research on your opponents, you're trying out new strategies. It's a lot more mentally taxing when you're trying to put so many pieces together than just maybe AFK 1v9 mode, as a lot of these players. I mean, I know I like to do that, right? That's why we play Dota 2 matchmaking sometimes. Just turn off brain, play a game, don't want to think so much. But, of course, early doors here, nothing too crazy happening in the lanes, and I guess that's to be expected because Mars paired with any other ranged offlaner might be a bit more threatening, but when you have double melee with Tusk and a Phoenix that can just dive away at a moment's notice, it's kind of tough to get anything done.
And maybe now the newest hit level 3, we might see something come out of this bottom lane. They do have a little bit of damage while X-Nova's not quite 3. That's when Phoenix really starts spiking. And then all of a sudden, I don't necessarily think we'll see kill potential just because of the Spear Shards. But it's possible, right? The Luna Phoenix is going to start outputting some real damage. And Mars Tusk, they're going to have to be careful.
Dude, I really like this adaptation from the Mars as we see Shiro getting whipped up a bit. But yeah, the Mars in particular, he's gone for level 3 Bulwark, which is so value this lane into 2 ranged heroes who you don't really have kill threat. You're going to spend most of your lane trying to survive and just keep your HP at reasonable numbers. Hero. And while you smile up here on the top side, it's a perfect setup from Bobaka. Double Avalanche, but JT without that static link, it's still is enough to trade into Shiro. My goodness, the lifestealer's low. You just have to back up. Oh, this could be a cool timing though.
Rotation come in, yeah.
DYW. So gonna try and get the touch on the JT. Nice glimpse back as well, but JT, he still has nice stick charges. Not enough mana for the Plasma Field, and he might just get run down here. First Blood is drawn. The Plasma Field will still take down the Disruptor though. So they should be able to run down Bobaka. No HP, no mana. Very sad stuff. Let's give the last touch to Shiro, and that's a double for the Lifestealer. Just as good as you could ask for.
Not quite back, but pretty darn close. Lifestealer should be feeling pretty happy with that, right? Only 12 CS to his name, but 2 kills early on? Sure, why not?
Yeah, and the whole idea of Lifestealer is survive with a capital S, right? You want to reach a point where you can't be pushed out of lane, and getting some of these early kills on Razor helps a ton. It feels like Razor's always like one of these Lash Viper heroes where you kill him once or twice, suddenly he kind of feels a bit like a loser, you know? You're like, I can kill you again. You ain't dominating shit.
I don't think the Lifestealer is going to be able to sit in this lane as much as he'd like to, unless we see ganks like this come out time and time again.
Oh yeah, it's JT left high and dry here. Looks like Bobaka went for a little bit of an excursion to the mid lane to try and help, and nicely done from LGD. They spotted that out with a ward, and they just easily get that kill. I mean, at this point, walk a shame back, and by that point, Shiro's going to be 2 levels up. This is looking rough.
Yeah, in a lane that isn't Lifestealer favored. Like, it just isn't.
Yeah.
And it comes down to these rotations. BYW, fantastic. This is what we expected from the Tusk. Exactly what we expected.
Yeah, this kind of feels like, I mean, LGD, obviously, they're booking their Lifestealer 10-minute stay up here in the top lane hotel, right? And the Razor's coming through to check the timestamps, like, okay, you know, looks like your ticket has expired, and then it doesn't really matter if you just get a bunch of people to beat him up, and he can't check whether you need to check out or not. He's just overstaying his welcome here, quite literally.
My eyes are going to be on Setsu right now. Level 6. Doesn't get the action rune, but could still go up for that bounty rune and make some sort of rotation with that 2-bottle charge.
Yeah, you did mention that Setsu, obviously, you know, he has to make a lot of action happen, but early on, as you expected, nothing to say, using that Empower to out-CS him by quite a margin.
Yeah, it's rough, right? I think the most grueling one was it Whisper playing it recently? I don't know, a month or 2 ago, he had like 30 denies over someone. I can't remember who
I remember
it was.
that because, of course, because...
Yes.
Oh my goodness. They made a whole meme about it as well. Yeah.
I didn't know there was a meme. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's pretty rough. Like, getting 30 denies in lane is pretty scary.
No, I mean, I'm saying comparatively to that situation, it's not that bad. Like, right now you're looking at this, it pales in comparison, but that's a bit of a off situation. Setsu, he is just kind of retreating back to his own jungle, trying to sort of make it to those smaller item increments here. First Wisdom Rune traded, 1 each, so no crazy disparities in EXP. And both teams, they aren't too pressed to make action happen after those initial rotations onto JT. They haven't really brought much members there continually. Nothing to say, he might beat Setsu to the punch here, looking towards either the top side. No, maybe just the triangle for some farming. Okay.
Alright, fair enough. It's hard, right? It's very hard to gank a Lifestealer Disruptor. Because you all in on the Lifestealer, you either got Kinetic Field or Glimpsed away, and you're like, well, That's it. And then Lifestealer just rages and runs away. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, that you raise a really good point. LGD, who do you gank? Like, it's, I mean, even if you get the jump on one of their cores, right, then suddenly the supports come in, there's a lot of defensive maneuvers they can throw out that could really catch you off guard, especially if the level 6 on you, you can just TP in, arena, turn around. Could be very scary affair. And yeah, look at that. Anytime you try and make an aggressive move, Shiro literally just rages. There's a kinetic field down, and it's like, whoop-de-doo, okay, we're out of here. You know, you can try again in 20 seconds when we'll have our spells up again.
What do you think of this Falcon Blade coming out from Razor? It's going to be building it up. Do you think it's just... I don't know, it might be a little too slow in my opinion. Falcon Blade's such a weird item for me. I don't think there's too many heroes that really like it. And I don't know if Razor's one of those heroes.
I mean, what do you think the alternative would be then? Like, what would you have preferred JT go for?
Yeah, that's a good question, Sneeze. I haven't seen too much of this offlane Razor. I mean, you could just go for more damage, where you could see that Sanjin Yasha build up. We could see something along the lines. Oh, I think like probably Falcon Blade is the best option now that I'm thinking about it.
I mean, like, he doesn't, because I'm looking
weird,
at this
though.
lineup, right? Like, I don't necessarily disagree with it because I feel like all you need is stats. You're gonna be the front liner. I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised to see him go Falcon Blade BKB. And then the Falcon Blade is just to sort of give him a little teensy bit of damage. Oh, nothing to say. This mid lane. Getting eyed up on, but he's ready to square up if need be. Gonna get set up into the RP. They committed just on the Disruptor, but I guess they're not too concerned because it gets them a kill. Gets him out of that awkward situation.
Yeah, no reason to be saving these big ultimates, right? Like we've already talked about, who do you gank, who are you killing with that RP? Really no one, so just take whatever free one you can get.
Yeah. You know what would have been nicer on the Razor? You know, now that I'm thinking, Orchid Malevolence.
Don't. I feel like JT was the one who started that for me too.
It's not, wait. It's like, we're memeing, but it's not even that bad because I think what we've come to see from a lot of these offlaners is an early Orchid build-up to deal with the Lifestealer because it can really catch you off guard. It's essentially instant cast, right? And then no rage. You talk about the save, it's just a snowball, and essentially PYW is gonna have to be in the perfect spot. It's not like an item that the Razor can't build as well, and you were talking about you'd like to see him get a bit more damage. Maybe that could be an option. But probably not at this point since he's already gotten that small item. Try to set up onto Mew now on the bot side. Blink reveal, nothing to say. Easy pick up there. The Mars is going to get punished. Tries to spear back, but all he can do is pin the bird to a wall. Looking like a bit of a kebab there, but none that's going to be served up. He's the meal here, and they're not done. They just keep smoking up, keep it going. I mean, nothing to say. This was a rushed Blink Dagger for him, and they want to put it to the most work possible. RP not available, but now looking towards this top side. Oh, Shiro could be the next target.
Hard kill, but very possible. If Shiro rages a little too soon, come in and sweep him up.
Oh. I mean, this kind of gives the move away, right? Because why else would your Luna TP up here unless you're putting on pressure? Suddenly, no one's in the bot side, no one's in the mid. You gotta expect that G2.iG are all perched up here, and that's absolutely where they are. Looks like LGD just have to give up this tower. They don't want to bring the defenders here.
I see a lot of these movements. Oh god, I feel like I'm insulting these teams. I feel like I see a lot of similar movement in my pubs where someone comes in, they rotate 4 heroes to the top lane to pressure the tower, while bottom just isn't being pressured the same, right? If you're gonna be like, it's free. There's no one down here because they're all top. Yeah. Maybe put pressure somewhere else. Maybe take a fight, which it seems like LGD are gonna try to do with Coil and Arena and everything. But your Mars isn't here. Your Disruptor's just gotten 6.
Yeah, but I do think that that might be just you know, just a little bit reductive. I think if anything, G2.iG, that was a series of great moves from them, and the whole reason why they're uncomfortable showing in the bot side is because LGD just lost their offlaner there. He has to slowly walk back because he's not sure whether he has the TP response, and everyone's just LGD's feeling a little scared. You know, they're like, where is G2.iG? I have no idea. But now this is the move that you asked for, Crash, and they're gonna try and make it. Smoke gets revealed here, and they already know that there's someone farming there, and probably not a target they can instantly burst down without some TP responses. That's not very ideal. And now Neil with the smoke broken, he's not going to feel nearly as comfortable venturing deep.
Does not feel good playing that scared, Sneeze. Yeah. That was rough, right? New instantly blinks backwards.
Yeah, he's like, I'm done.
I don't know, maybe a misplay, maybe he double tapped it, but I don't think so. I think that was just a get out of jail card.
Here then, there is a static storm available if they need to commit it. There was a real risk of the Phoenix being able to egg, but realistically, it didn't seem like anyone on G2.iG was ready to respond. They finally get a connection. Not the one they wanted, but it's the one that they'll take, and they'll start reversing the pressure on the opposing side of the map. This is what you were hoping for, and with that early Blink Dagger build-up, he gets it! They're listening to you, Crash! You should send your application to Shout 8, bro. Yeah.
I'm sure he'd love that. I'm sure he'd really look at it.
Yeah, you could be the assistant director. Crash.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like
LGD,
that sound.
a feature film coming to DreamLeague Season 23. Assistant directed by Crash Aroli.
Wow.
Yeah.
Moving up in the world, dude.
Yeah, that's crazy. From casting.
You can join me too if you want.
Oh, really? Oh, it's open. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
While we're at it, why don't we get everyone on Reddit along with us as well? And like everyone.
And all the armchair analysts.
Yeah. No, just like us. The Armchair Analysts Association needs to get on board with this feature.
The AAA.
Yeah, the AAA. Well, jokes aside here, 3-4, not a lot of action happening in this game as both teams very clearly working towards their own timings. I mean, later in the game, it feels like it still is G2.iG favored, even though the lifestealer might become a bit of a bigger problem. I feel like G2.iG have a very nice tri-core cooking up, where I'm a bit worried that Neo, if he's not able to continue finding this action, especially the early Blink Dagger, he might start to fall off a little bit.
I would dare say the action's already stopped for this Mars.
We're still kind of waiting around, huh? I mean, he's it.
You've got your Blink Dagger. I don't know. Like, make some moves. Do something. This is so stagnant. Oh my goodness.
What is...
Didn't even need
God,
the
they got a D-ward. Holy base.
Nothing to say, really worked hard for that one, dude.
No, that was tough. He had to blink too. It was so much leg work. They sent the Magnus to do it too because they're not super comfortable and understandable, right? They don't really see any LGD heroes.
Sure.
They're worried about maybe an Infest Blink reveal. That, I mean, it could be something that Shiro applies himself to, but he still doesn't seem very concerned, wants to work his way towards the Radiance. Can't really blame him there. I talk about the Mars as well, but now looking at the Razor's net worth, he's not looking too hot. Like the setup in the mid lane, instant Eclipse though. Monet isn't messing around, and on the backside, Bobaka looking for a setup. He might throw the Static Storm down, but nothing to be found and nothing to save. Finds the Mars. Perfectly played. And IG just wrap around their opponents in this mid lane tower here, and LGD were completely unprepared.
Cool Static Storm. Where's your Arena? Where's your Coil? Where's these other big team fight ultimates? They just weren't ready yet. You've got a Blink on PYW, but you just can't do anything. You have 2 Blink Daggers on LGD right now, but no movements to make. Only 4 kills 16 minutes in. This can't be what's on the cards, especially as a disruptor lineup.
I think the more curious thing for me is that Setsu's completed his Witchblade, hasn't attacked an enemy hero yet. You know what I mean? Like, I think, you know, the expectation will be, okay, we hit these first item timings, our Mars is rushing a blink, we want to get action happening. You clearly don't have damage if it's just the Mars and he's so scared that he's blinking away by himself, so bring Setsu into the mix. But both these calls on LGD just focusing on their farming, maybe thinking they have a better later game timing, or they'll be able to pace up into the Death Ball, trying to rotate around, set up some vision. PYW onto X-Nova with the punch, and the bird is going to get just found out here. Setsu will pick that one up on behalf of the squad, but it's why you smile against the last hit. So not ideal, but you get what you can at this point. And LGD, again, trying to answer back in the mid lane, at least drag some of the G2.iG attention back here.
There's just been a back and forth between these towers and everything, right? Oh, Coil.
Finds JT in the tree line. Very awkward affair now for the Razor, who's trying to work his way towards BKB. Would have bailed him out in this situation, but unfortunately, tries for the neutral creep deny. Good try, but no cigar. Setsu finds another. And LGD turn things on here.
He was hitting hero with the Witchblade Sneeze. It happened, dude.
Oh, here comes Bobaka, high ground vision with the setup. Toss back into Monet. And even with the Arena, you can't really stand out. It's a nice wall, though. punch out. They don't have enough damage into X-Nova and his Sunray. Now they just have to run. He might not even survive. He's trying to get the life stealer out of here. He's gonna pop. Double kill for nothing to say. And look at Bobaka. A beautiful double avalanche setup. Trying for the turnaround, toss back, but a static storm buying him the time. Bobaka just hoping, waiting for the rest of the team to be ready. But Setsu's joined the fray. He's taking a lot of physical damage from Onado. And that's the high ground, just RP, holding the life stealer in place. And Setsu, he can't contribute anymore. Looks like why you smile his nicks on the chopping block. He's gonna get run down. The Luna just a bit too big and bad for now. Gonna mop up 4 heroes on LGD. They're trying to TP in, still commit. But Monet, he's still full HP. You get the punch out and you knock out the Tiny. But again, this trade doesn't feel anywhere near valuable for you, especially if the Luna's able to live. Now with New coming back, the low respawn timers, looks like Luna's left a bit high and dry. Noticing that there's no more cancels and will narrowly live. JT comes back, cleans up Setsu. Essentially a full team wipe for G2.iG, and they only lose 2.
And not even 2 heroes that they feel too bad about losing, right? Magnus used his abilities. He got everything off.
Yeah.
It's been done, right? Your play right now as Magnus is to enable Luna to do as much damage as possible. And now with the BKB on the Luna, the timings are starting to come up from G2.iG. In that fight, it just felt like LGD were trickling in slowly. We're out of damage. The static storm was nice, but beautiful play from Bobaka on the Tiny, right? Waiting patiently. He's literally just standing on the high ground, waiting for his team to walk up just a little bit closer. It was such a heads-up Tiny play.
That's the type of thing you love to see from Bobaka, right? That's that guy right there. It's always in the old school sort of Bobaka that we used to know and love. It's always these Earth Spirit cutoffs from what feels like an angle out of absolutely nowhere. You're just walking down the street, suddenly Bobaka snipes you with a rock to the head from like left field. That's exactly what happened in this situation with the Tiny 2. That avalanche really set up for more for G2.iG. And I think, unfortunately, LGD, Shiro, he kind of got a bit too confident, right? He felt like, oh, you know, I'm full HP, I can walk up high ground, but my friend, there's still 2 ultimates yet to be used. Maybe he was really fiending for that nothing to say kill, but ends up costing his life. And despite all of that, it's still not that crazy of a gold lead, right? It's still pretty even overall, but this is the Luna draft's timing, and they're gonna start putting the pedal on the metal.
I would say the network disparity isn't too bad until you kind of look at Mars, and you kind of realize that this Mars has definitely fallen off.
Yeah, it's kind of what we were worried about as well. The lack of action hurting him quite a bit. He's a hero that can clear these creep waves, can get farm, but especially when the space on the map starts to get a bit limited and kind of work against you. Yeah, G2.iG, look at how aggressively they're posturing. They're ready to just take away the Tormentor if they don't see anyone in the area. Yeah, let's work it down. Get the Eye of the Storm rocking and rolling, and got this one for free. RP finds a Mars. The call is gonna bring out the nothing to say, but it doesn't matter. They just commit the Eclipse straight for him. And again, this has become a new bullying session right here. I feel so bad for this Mars.
JT a little stuck from those shards, but look at this. G2.iG, they're not willing to leave them behind.
Yeah. Still going again. Another silence means that no snowball for you and nothing to say. Spotted him out. It's daytime vision, my friend. And Tusk gives over another 5k gold lead now. I mean, this advantage has really cemented itself at this point. And the Luna is feeling so comfortable. Didn't bother finishing up the Manta first and went straight for the BKB. And I love this from Monet. He understands that his team is strong right now and he wants to push the issue.
And you've synced up your BKB timings as well, right? Razor has finished that BKB too.
Yeah. So
it's time to go. Magnus is the only one without one, but he's going to be getting it a little bit.
Yeah. This Orchid build-up is exactly what... It's so nice as well, given that the Life Stealer doesn't want to build a Dispel for himself. It's very uncomfortable to do so. Like the Manta, sure you can buy it, but you really want the SNY, especially this patch.
Yeah. And that's what he has queued up on Shiro too. It doesn't necessarily care about that Orchid, maybe. Maybe it's more of a puck issue, right? Maybe Shiro's like, you can deal with it, right? He's going to be Orchiding you. Surely you'll never Orchid me.
Yeah, but the Yule is going to make him a less attractive target, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But Setsu, he's been doing pretty well to keep himself out of harm's way for the most part of this game. But he's also not been in any actions way, right? He's not been moving any way, it feels like. Setsu coming back in that previous fight to try and net his team some kills. But, there's only nothing so much Puck can do. Again, New caught out, pushing away, but alone. PYW was supposed to be his insurance policy, but the insurance policy just runs away. Don't trust your insurance agents is the story of this parable, ladies and gentlemen.
Your insurance agents are gonna TP back to base. They're gone, dude.
Yeah, if you ever get into
once
a critical...
that Static Storm comes out...
yeah. A critical illness, oh, they're like, oh, you know, we don't cover the entire side of G2.iG collapsing upon you in a place that we were very clearly supposed to protect you. So, too bad, you know, they're gonna get roached. It's just how the claim settlement works. Too bad. And G2.iG, that's exactly what they do. This timing is lethal here, and they're just gonna keep scaling up, right? All these subsequent item timings, the BKB on the Magnus, the Razor with the SNY himself cooking up next, and Monet, he has that Manta and the Shard. They're gonna be basically at full power at this juncture already.
I would say they are. Well, I mean, obviously Luna can get more farmed, but for the 25-minute mark, this is your peak. This is go time for sure.
Everything is coming together. It's like when it's like that one episode on Hell's Kitchen where one of the teams actually does their job and stops fumbling the bag, right? Everyone, and like on the little garnish section, they have it right in time with the meat. Nothing's raw, you know. You plated it up nicely. No one's using homemade pasta. Sorry, no one's using box pasta. That's always the big one on that show. I don't know what that's about. But LGD, now they're kind of scrambling. They don't really have anything to eat on the map. Just kind of scrapping around, trying to find whatever they can. And maybe with this smoke, they can get an advantageous fight and on a relatively split up G2.iG.
And Mags is alone. If they can weasel their way into the enemy jungle, find out this Mag, as long as he's not close to a tier 2 tower, LGD can probably win a fight if there's only 2 of them.
Oh, PYW just off the connection. Bobica too quick. These veteran players sizing up each other. Looks like PYW is not gonna tank his way out of this one. Fortunately goes down. X-Nova has very quietly supported the team through a lot of these engagements, right? His Sunray has just been such a big factor. LGD, they don't have the damage. This is what we were a bit worried about. If G2.iG are able to get these items, it's... Oh, that's huge. Okay. Okay, New. That was a
It's over. The comeback starts
GG,
now,
they
dude.
start now. LGD is back. Director 8, he's back in the seat. Cameras live in action. This is... Okay, jokes aside, of course, that is quite significant, right? How much... Okay, Mars going down, very sad. He pays for sins.
Yeah. Again, in this area. Very awkward place for this Mars to
Oh,
be.
they want to TP in though. They're trying to get the jump, but nothing to say as the BKB prepared for them. Just jumps in. Oh, this looks to be a perfect RP, but nice infest from Shiro. Gonna get the silence in time, and now 3-man Dreamclaw. In comes Shiro. Starting to lay the hands out, but he can't get a connection. Maybe it's just onto the Magnus for now. With the punch into the sky, PYW knocked out, nothing to say. That shot's just slightly off the mark, but here comes Bobica. Another avalanche to the setup onto Why You Smile. The Disruptor doesn't stand a chance here. And now into the Eclipse. Looks like LGD, they just have to run. The kinetic field, right before his death, saves LGD from any further casualties. But all things considered, not too bad, given you're fighting into a Luna with an Aegis.
Yeah, you take out the Magnus too. He's not quite top of the net worth on the enemy team, so it's not... but it's still like a good chunk of gold. But G2.iG, they get more out of it.
Oh, they find PYW again. This task just has not had the time of day. And unfortunately, cannot eat the sun. So he just gets blown up there.
Buildings are going to start getting blown up too. Monet has that AD rune. Sorry, jeez.
Yeah, come on.
The
Get
one
with
thing
the
that
times,
Monet is
Quest Road.
lacking is mana.
Yeah.
He barely has mana for the BKB.
Look at the lineup. Not a single arcane boots on this G2.iG stack. Just nothing but damage, vibes, and pure domination as Monet on the killing spree now. They don't need mana. They just have so much damage.
So if we have a little bit of a lull, are you much of a Tiny player? Because this is something I want to talk to you about. Because I've literally never touched the hero, really. I'm not much of a Tiny player.
Okay.
Do you know why people are going phase boots? Yeah, over the mana boots. Is it just a feels good thing?
I think it's just a feels good thing because with Tiny, it's always about positioning. That's the crux of the hero,
Sure.
right? And anything that can get you into that position. Of course, the additional armor is helpful for you to survive too. Power Treads doesn't really make sense because you're not really auto-attacking. You've seen some Tinies in rougher games go for Tranquils, but I think he understands his role very well here, Bobica. And it might just be a comfort thing, right? Because he's played millions of games with Tiny at this point.
Sure.
Hey. Trying to get punched down here, will lose that first life. The Avalanche goes wide because of a nice little rage out from Shiro. That's the wall from Arena being set into play, but Spear just completely off the mark there. All these spells from LGD not really connecting the way that they need to, but Setsu still able to find that kill on the Tiny. Now Shiro starting to get the hands onto Monet here. It's a 1v1 battle, and without the shot, it's not as easy, but there's still a BKB, and there's still the sun, and you can't fight into that anymore. All the BKBs pop. Time for a retreat, JT. Trying to get out of this situation, but PYW gets the punch of the Monet. They've left their Luna behind, and even though they successfully extract the rest of their team members, it's a great play from the Tusk to finish off that carry.
An incredibly ambitious TP, and as much as you said as the LGD ultimates weren't quite, or abilities weren't quite lining up, same can be said about IG. Hell, they didn't even have half of them.
Yeah, it was definitely a bit of a weird one. I mean, once you pop that egg and the BKBs, the assumption is that you're gonna try and fight, but I guess they realized that somebody on the team made the call, okay, we need to bail out of here, it's not gonna happen. It didn't really feel completely jointed, and you can't BKB TP against a Tusk. That's not how it's gonna work.
No, it just, I don't know if you know this, Sneeze, but it doesn't work. Yeah, it is that easy. You just punch them.
Yeah, you hit them with a fist.
You could toggle it to make it an auto attack. It's so easy.
True. And PYW, he's honestly had a really tough game so far, and it's not gonna look any brighter, but at the end of the day, if he can keep finding these connections when it matters, these small little deaths, you know, at a certain point, you just kind of shrug them off, right? It gives you a bit of information on where the vision is, as he immediately pings out. But as long as you're there for the important goals and defenses, somewhere down the line, maybe you want to sort of try and work your way towards an Axe, which is what he's queuing up. That's going to make a big difference in the fights.
Top tower is under attack.
Oh, absolutely. It's another BKB piercing. I mean, I wouldn't call it a stun, but a reposition. And it's super strong, right? Luna does not want to 1v5. She hates when heroes are directly on top of her. Yeah. And to be fair, Razor kind of does too. I mean, I don't think there's many heroes that like when 5 heroes have collapsed on top of them. Maybe a Tide Hunter, but that's really about it.
I mean, this game, really, just the Magnus, right? He's
sure.
Easiest RP of my life. But
yeah.
G2.iG, I think a large part of why that fight went the way it did, honestly, and I know this is going to sound a bit dramatic, but wouldn't that have been a very different story if Luna had a shot? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, could be.
The entire time, Shiro's just running up into the Luna, smacking her for free. And it's clear that Monet, in a 1v1 situation, you can't win the fight. It's only the shot that really makes that difference manageable. And
yeah,
without that, New, even though he died for it, and even though it wasn't pretty, LGD, they're able to hold on. And I mean, what? It feels like maybe 2 or 3 more fights in that similar fashion where LGD can break even. This Luna's peak power timing is going to be dampened by a bit.
Yeah, she's slowly going to start dwindling away until that, you know, 35, 40-minute mark. And that's going to leave LGD to start making moves, right? And we already kind of see them back into a position where they're feeling safe enough to go out on the map.
Yeah.
Not potentially find kills, but at least play, you know, a little bit more risky, and they're feeling, you know, probably not too bad about it. As long as Mars and Tusk keep playing in this bottom area of the map, it means that G2.iG have to choose, right? Do we push high ground? Do we go back and kill these people? We can't really push high ground, so we go back. That's so much space. Like, that is an incredible amount of space to make on 2 heroes.
Yeah, I mean, they'll make the call to move back here now, and mostly because they're probably setting up for this potential Roche spawn being a bit early. G2.iG, they're still in the area and should have seen that eye shots come out to clear the creep wave. But yeah, they just want advanced vision and advanced sort of posture in this area, right? Because the key thing for them is this second Aegis. If they can get the second Aegis, move swiftly to the high ground, they're hoping for earlier Roche spawn, but that's gotta...
so long.
That's gotta sting. That's gonna give LGD a lot of time to work.
Yeah. It's going to put them in a position where they can get right back out on said map that we were just talking about.
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, even though it looks really rough for LGD at this point, Stetsu still has essentially what's a free puck game, right? The only person he's scared of on the map is the Magnus, coming through with either a silence, and even then he has a Yules to break out of it. It's just the RP catching him off guard into potentially chain stuns. And he's doing a good job because he has a gem, so anywhere they might have vision, he's still able to clear it out. Yeah, I mean, LGD, this is gonna be really good for them as long as they just don't run willy-nilly into certain death, but
yeah.
You kind of get it, right? Because you don't know, you have no idea that this Roche is coming up so late. So you still have to sort of posture around the area and try, but This might end up being a bit of a mistake for them here.
They know. Both G2.iG and LGD, they know something's up.
Well,
And they're just posturing as safe as possible.
yeah. Some nice lane vision set already. Let's start with the illusions. With that Thunderstrike coming down, you know exactly what's going on. Set 2 in that area as well. I don't think they want to set up on the puck though. Incredibly tense coming through. Spear onto Bobaka. Been a big part of their setup so far, but the Yule's up into the sky. He'll be fine for now, buying his team a bit more time to work. Now the Mars will use himself, but coming back down into certain depth. He doesn't have a BKB and Yule just is gonna melt. Still able to walk and survive for now. Bobaka will finally go down, especially if the Sunray is still keeping the heroes of G2.iG alive. And now Shiro, he has to run, but he's being linked up. And where's the help? Trying for the boss dive and the snowball save. DYW will bail on his carry for now, but there's nothing else to offer. Shiro's going down, and JT's on the front line, zapping them down to bits. LGD, they just can't stand against the full force of G2.iG, and they melt in this Roach area fight. Tetsu, he tries his best there. It was a good attempt on Bobaka in the tree line, but they just don't have the damage to clip him down.
Dude, it was so unfortunate. I was getting hyped at the beginning of that fight because I was like, oh, dude, Disruptor Shard is finally seeing value. Right? The vision gained. They understood exactly where G2.iG were. But like we talked about during the draft, our big woes, Mars, no damage. Puck isn't in a position to do like Octarine Core, right? Not this Maelstrom Ags that we've been seeing so much of. So the damage on LGD kind of lacking. The control definitely there, right? I don't think that's the question. But right now, the only hero doing damage is the Lifestealer. The Sunray is too much. It pretty much negates all the other damage minus the Lifestealers.
Yeah, and again, we're looking at it. LGD, we asked this question in the draft. Who is hitting the egg? Turns out nobody. Everybody doesn't like breakfast. They're not in the mood for some X-Nova. And despite the picks of the task, it's supposed to get off to a rolling start. You're supposed to get this early action on the map. Didn't happen for LGD. Coming through on the Mars, a couple of nice rotations post-blink, but after that, really nothing. And you're facing down a terrifying Tricore, a Luna timing with her second Aegis.
Yeah. Feels a lot like, you know, you're pushing that boulder up the hill and it keeps tumbling back down onto you. Red LGD, like, there's inklings of good fights. There's, you know, things are happening for them a little bit.
Just
but,
yeah,
every single time, every single angle, G2.iG bounce back, and it doesn't even look close in these 5-on-5 fights. It just seems like G2.iG are, you know, set up in a team fight position that LGD just can't deal with. Static Storm was great that fight. You're right, it connects onto two people, both the Tiny and the Magnus, but the rest of the team free to roam around that fight.
You can kind of understand New's thought process with this Wind Waker that he's rushed up. It's not really a very early item that a lot of Mars like to get, and it's for the very reason that we saw just now, right? He's trying purely to play for the setup, but it's a situation that as soon as he shows his face, one Lucent Beam from the Kanda Luna is just cutting down half of your HP. That's your off-laner that we're talking about. And on the flip side, JT, he's scaled up to the point where he's able to just run down this Lifestealer. That's already two of your key members on LGD out of the fight. It feels like these engagements are just getting harder and harder, and I love that analogy that you made, Crash, talking about the boulder that just keeps falling down on you. Yeah, it doesn't really help when the boulder in question is being played by one of the best position force China has ever seen. Okay, I mean, literally, this guy's out to get you. He's trying not to get eliminated here. Now setting out to set through the Hex. His puck is toast. There's no way he can get out of that situation. And 90 seconds without your puck, this is looking like it's gonna be at least 3 lanes of Rex Megas. I mean, you have Luna on the high ground. This is not gonna happen. They might just try and bait it out because they're not entirely sure whether the puck is buyback, but if they caught an eye on his inventory, they will have seen that completed Octarine and Parasma. This is scary stuff now. Square up of the Monet, but again, Shiro and a 3-man RP! The Avalanche still on the mark, despite the Horn Toss skewer not working out. But they just get melted. It's curtains. This is looking like butter the way it's just getting spread out all over the base. Shiro, I mean, he's still surviving, trying to kill off Bobaka, but he's barely doing any damage. And that's the problem with this LGD lineup. You're desperately trying to buy back. You're not ready to give up just yet, though. So you're trying to hold on. You understand that all the ultimates have been used from G2.iG. Not so sure they were going to call GG there, but still trying to grasp, not lose out this early on. But Monet, this is not somebody to fight. You're trying to work him with the punch, but you just have to infest and run away. Again, this Luna, this is her peak. Satanic, BKB, still a second life available. Almost the whole squad. Sans Bobaka, just ready to back you up. He can't run into her. She has the shot up in another, like, what, 5 seconds? You gotta try. Maybe. Her first life. Does she even care? Yeah, just pop the Satanic. It's vibes.
Yeah.
So the high ground is a home
Yeah.
right now.
Hard too fighting against this Luna when there's so many glaive bounces as well.
It's back now.
so
Nice.
difficult.
Oh, dude, that met oh, Monet.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
That is rare. That isn't the easiest ability the man to dodge either. Like, it's possible, mind you. We just saw it, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yeah, ready to play today. I mean, screw these other prior series. Screw that Team Zero matchup. We're here and we're trying to sort of carve our way out. What a performance it's been from G2.iG so far. It's like looking around, waiting for a setup. It's new. He's gonna get caught again. He has a Wind Waker, but no chance of using it. This Mars is completely fallen flat this game. It's not the new performance we've come to know and love. 45 seconds without him again at a numbers disadvantage. This is looking like the last lane of Rags. G2.iG, they want to put this Aegis remaining timer to work. But the Blaze bouncing Shiro. They're trying to square up now. Monet, not a lot of mana to work with. They'll get punched up, might just lose that first life. The Aghanim's infested, doing quite a bit of damage, and they should be able to work down the Luna, but already the last Rex on a sliver of HP. And still trying for the setup. Monet will just finish off that last building, and it's completely fine, right? G2.iG, they can just retreat, but it seems like LGD don't want to let them foil onto the BKB Luna, but there's the Eclipse turning things around into RP. He can't fight. He just can't match up into the team fight. Static Storm comes down too late. GG is called. That's the only thing they can say in this hopeless situation. LGD, they lost control of this game way too early on and never really got it back. G2.iG thunder forward to an early start here. Game 1 falls into their hands.
It's one of those, like, you drafted it